Jayson Tatum should have won MVP. Make a video about Jayson Tatum. Jayson Tatum will be the best player next when LeBron gets old, and he's the clutchest player in the draft so far. I mean, just check his summer league highlights. Jayson Tatum over Lonzo Ball. Jayson Tatum low-key balling hard. SDC. Jayson Tatum such a dynamic scorer like Carmelo Anthony. Jayson Tatum a straight-up beast. He's the type of player our children will ask. He wasn't drafted first or even second. Jayson Tatum, Rookie of the Year. Like if you agree.
Not funny and nobody likes you.
Jayson Tatum, dude be getting a lot of love down in the comment section. Sometimes it's not even related to the video at all. People just like to show the dude love. And that's actually a good thing. Did you guys know that out of everyone that was drafted this year in this supposedly stacked NBA draft class, I think Jayson Tatum is the most sure thing who is 100% guaranteed to average at least 20 a game at some point in his career. Don't get me wrong, I think a few of the players in this draft class will average 20 a game, but if I had to put money on it, he is the one that I know for a fact at some point in his career will average at least 20 a game. You can try and dispute that all you want, but I already know this 100%. Ain't nothing you can tell me to convince me that Jayson Tatum won't average at least 20. At least 20. That's just the bare minimum is 20. And that's because the dude is just a pure scorer. I mean, the man is a certified bucket getter. Averaged around 18 points on 45% shooting in both the Vegas and the Utah Summer Leagues. Would have been a lot more had he not gotten tired or fatigued towards the end. You know, that's the excuse he gave, which that is a legitimate excuse. You know, I ain't gonna say it's a cop-out, because back in college, you're not used to the NBA lifestyle. You're not used to playing game after game after game. There aren't as many games in college, so games are a little more spaced out. So just in the summer league, dude was like game. If you're not used to that, that'll wear you down. So we do gotta work on his stamina a little bit, but that's no big deal because basically every single rookie needs to work on their stamina. That's why there's this thing called the rookie wall. That happens about midway through the season. They start off the season looking really strong, going at full speed, running, sprint, getting better and better and better. When all of a sudden, bang! Bang, bang! They run straight into that wall, face first. Break a nose, lose a couple of teeth. All of a sudden, they don't look as good. Why? Because they be tired. So that's gonna happen to a bunch of rookies. Anyways, like I was saying, at the beginning of the summer league, Jayson Tatum was killing it. 20-point game after 20-point game after 20-point game. Hit a game winner.
See what he does here.
Tatum pulls a trigger, about a 17-footer. Bang! Big shot on a big stage.
During one of those games, and all while doing it, he made it look so freaking effortless. He looked like he was barely even trying out there, and that's why I say that he is probably the most sure thing to average 20 a game at some point in his career, because the dude was born to score in the NBA. And it's not just that he scores, it's also the way he scores. See, Jayson Tatum doesn't try to score like most NBA players try and do nowadays. He's not the explosive one. He's not the one that's like pop, pop, pow, oh wow.
What?
That's not Jayson Tatum. Jayson Tatum's more, how could I put this? He's more methodical, graceful, patient. How else can I put this? The dude is slow, all right? He takes his time to get a bucket, but that's okay because it's not about how you get the bucket, how long it takes to get the bucket. All that matters is you got the bucket. And it's because of this that people say that he reminds them of another former Celtics player, Paul Pierce. Jayson Tatum has been getting compared to Paul Pierce ever since he was drafted to the Boston Celtics. You know, both light skinned, makes sense. And I guess also because they're both scorers who like to take their time when they're scoring. Now normally I'm not a huge fan of comparing rookies to NBA legends, to other NBA great players. Why? Because I don't think it's fair. I prefer just to let Jayson Tatum be the next Jayson Tatum instead of saying Jayson Tatum is the next Paul Pierce. It's kind of crippling to the rookies to do that, because if they don't live up to the player you're comparing to, all of a sudden they're a disappointment, a bust. But at the same time, it can be crippling the other way too. Who's to say the next or the first Jayson Tatum won't be better than Paul Pierce? And saying Jayson Tatum is the next Paul Pierce is kind of putting a limit on him so he can't surpass Paul Pierce. I prefer just to let a player become who they are. But these comparisons are good in a way, as it lets us kind of describe their style of play to people who might not know what their style of play is. So saying Jayson Tatum is the next Paul Pierce, that person gets a picture in their head and is like, oh, okay, I see what you mean now. And speaking of Jayson Tatum being the next Paul Pierce, even Paul Pierce just came out and said that Jayson Tatum reminds him of a more mature version of himself. When I'm watching him, he looks like a mature version of my game, like my 6th, 7th, or 8th year. Hold up. Did Paul Pierce just say that Jayson Tatum looks as good right now as he was in his 6th, 7th, or 8th year? Paul Pierce just said Jayson Tatum looks as good right now as he did in his freaking prime. That ain't nothing you guys should take lightly, because in his prime, Paul Pierce was that dude. Paul Pierce was that guy that was out there putting up at least 25 a game. That's a pretty big compliment, and who knows, maybe Boston was right to trade the #1 pick for the #3 pick plus some other future picks like the Lakers pick next year, so they could draft Jayson Tatum. Actually, as it turns out, everything that happened this summer, Boston looks like freaking geniuses for doing that, because if they drafted Markelle Fultz, then what happens with the whole Kyrie Irving situation? I know Kyrie Irving and Markelle Fultz probably wouldn't work out in the same backcourt.
Hell no. It would be an absolute disaster. Something that's one of the worst ideas I've heard.
But I do have to say this, just because Paul Pierce said Jayson Tatum reminds him of a mature version of himself, he looks like he's Paul Pierce in his prime, doesn't mean you should expect Jayson Tatum to play like Paul Pierce in his prime this upcoming season, because if Jayson Tatum played like a prime Paul Pierce in his rookie season, he'd already be building a case to go down as a basketball god, a top 10 player in NBA history. Any rookie that can play like a prime Paul Pierce is a basketball god. He's destined to do great things, but I wouldn't expect that out of any rookie. And that's because while Jayson Tatum might have these skills, he might not get the opportunity, and he doesn't have the experience. Look, it's gonna be much harder for Jayson Tatum to get minutes compared to some other NBA rookies, most other NBA rookies, because Jayson Tatum is on the Boston Celtics, and the Boston Celtics are a really good team, plus they have a lot of other players at his position. Of course, there's Marcus Morris, there's Jaylen Brown, and then there's that guy named Gordon Hayward too. So minutes are going to be a bit more hard to come by, but I do still think he'll get minutes at the backup 3 and also play some small ball 4. But even then, when he's on the court, I wouldn't expect the offense to run through him either, so he wouldn't be able to put up Paul Pierce-like numbers at any point, because when he's on the court, he'll most likely be on the court at all times with either Kyrie Irving or Gordon Hayward. That's why it's kind of hard for anyone really to pick him winning Rookie of the Year over some of these other rookies, because even though Jayson Tatum might be as good, if not better, than some of the people who are favorited to win it right now, it's just all about the opportunity in the situation, and he's just not going to get as much of an opportunity as the other rookies. Still though, I mean, who knows? Maybe something crazy happens and Jayson Tatum comes out the gate looking and playing like a freaking basketball god, prime Paul Pierce, and then the Boston Celtics like, yo, we gotta get this guy some more minutes. They make some moves, he gets in the starting lineup, and then he goes down as a top 10 all-time great. But I definitely wouldn't put my money on that. However, stranger things have happened in the NBA. Much stranger things have happened in the NBA. What do y'all think though? Do y'all think Paul Pierce is crazy? Do you think Jayson Tatum really got the game of a prime Paul Pierce right? And now let me know what you think. But that's gonna wrap it up for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Smack that like button and subscribe if you want more daily, every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday NBA videos. And until tomorrow, keep getting the buckets, Team SDC, and I'm out of here.